You choose the sauce. You choose the pasta. You choose the cheese.
Is that not nothing but noodles, brother?
Yeah, but I remember that. I ate at Pasta Mania like a day before.
How was it?
Yeah, it was okay.
Hey, welcome to Big Bear Woodshop. This is part 3 of the teaching platform series. What you just heard was a funny little exchange from the What Happened When podcast with Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson on the MLW radio network. It is a hilarious podcast talking about the glory days of WCW and Jim Crockett Promotions. I highly suggest you take the time to watch it. Now anyway, well, I'm back to the teaching platform. I'm trying to level off these outer boards here with the rest of the platform, and wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do it, but I mentioned to my dad what I was trying to do, and he said, well, I've got my dad's old plane in a box in the garage. I don't know if the blade's sharp, but you can certainly use it. And I said, okay, I've never used a hand plane, but I would love to use your dad's old tools. My grandpa passed away when my dad was 17, and I never got to meet him, and using his hand plane was a cool way to connect with him, even if it was just on a small level. So I really enjoyed being able to do that. And so here I'm just kind of sanding off what I did, and he was right, the blade wasn't all that particularly sharp, and I wasn't really using it right, and this table was wobbly, and it was a little difficult, and I didn't end up with the smoothest finish. So I'm just going over it with a sander and kind of correcting everything. Now here's another first. I'm using a router to round over the edge. Now you see me going up and down with the router, because I did not know while I was doing this that I should be, there I am resetting that I should put the router down and then lock it down rather than hold it down. I learned that after the fact. But there, it worked okay. I had a little bit of trouble getting everything in over here, or not over here, down on that end, because the router wasn't going down far enough, and I wasn't locking it in place at first, and it was definitely a learning experience to work on this. But overall, it ended up being a pretty good result on it. Oh, there we go. Oh, nope. I thought I tightened it down. Never mind. I just had to go over it a few times to make sure it was nice and level. Or make sure it was nice and smooth. Sorry, misspoke. But there, I'm just about done. You can't see what I'm doing because of the box, but I'm just finishing over that last little corner. So I'll mention the corners of these outer boards, how they're they have that little taper, or I don't know what you want to call it. I have them like that because I did my math wrong when I measured them, so they weren't long enough to have like butt jointed ends, and I couldn't miter them. They were just too short, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I decided to just kind of put them over like that, and then it would not look as weird. And I know if I don't tell anybody, then they'll think that was a design choice, and it's okay. In the part 2 video, I had mentioned how I thought I had maybe gone to my 220 grit sandpaper to give it the final finish, sanding, but I was wrong. I'm doing that here. Just making sure everything is real good. And this was the first time I've ever used one of these sanders. I mentioned that before. I bought it right before starting this project, and I actually read the manual on something because I really wanted to use it right and do a good job with it. So, I was just letting the sander do the work, its own, just guiding it, but letting the weight of the sander provide the weight for the work. Here I was just smoothing up those boards and trying to take off some of the burn marks from the router bit, and just give it a nice overall finish. Make sure that all the edges and corners would be nice and round and would be easy on the hands. And so there we go. Yeah, I got to use my dad's new, it was new to him last year, air compressor and nailer to put those boards on. It was, I believe it was an anniversary present to himself from him and my mom, which was pretty cool. Now here I am applying a pre-stain, and I had I've watched a ton of This Old House with My Dad and New Yankee Workshop and Woodwright's Shop, I think is the name of the show, is on PBS, and I've also watched a ton of YouTube videos on a lot of woodworking things and finish, and several videos I watched talk about using pre-stain to ensure that the stain is nice and even, evenly applied and looks real good. So I really wanted it to have a good look and not be blotchy, so I went ahead and did this. And I have never done them before, but it was pretty cool. Now I'm just going to say, as you see me put this on, it has that kind of wet look. In hindsight, I would have left it like this. I think this looks awesome. And it still looks awesome. The finished product in the classroom, it looks great. But the way it looks is not how I had imagined in my mind. And this is far superior than what I had originally envisioned. Or actually, what I envisioned was superior. This is superior to how it ended up, in my opinion. But again, like I said before, it still looks good. But the instructions on this said to put it on and let it sit for a few minutes, and I think it was 10 or 15 minutes or so, and then apply stain. And I took that to mean it wasn't supposed to dry first before applying stain. So I let it sit for a little bit and then got to applying the stain. Now, the school that I work at, our school colors are black and orange, and my original intent was to have this dark walnut stain kind of be the black and have stripes, and then have other boards be, kind of an orange color with this gun stock stain that I bought. And the picture on the can was orange, and I thought it would look really good. And I ended up being a little sloppy as I was trying to do this. So I changed tactic, which is fine because it still looks cool. It just wasn't what I had envisioned, and I know people say just don't tell people what you originally thought, and then they'll never know. But I think it looks weird that I'm in the video that I'm doing all this care to do two planks and the edges and try to make it smooth. That if I was doing the whole thing dark walnut, you would wonder why I was doing it this way. So I'm just explaining my process. And it was around this time that I realized, this is not going to really look that good because I wasn't able to keep the stain from the board next to it. And so let's just do the whole top as this dark walnut, and then we'll do the edge boards, the lighter orange, and it'll still be cool. That was my thought. So I still took care to keep it off the edge, those edge boards, but then I could go over this a whole lot quicker because the middle part didn't matter. Stretching my back again because there's just quite a bit of leaning over. more stain in the bowl, but you know, it went okay. And just like with the rest of this project, with it being so big and really pretty simple, straightforward design, I think that's my mom coming out to take a look at what I was doing. Everybody in my family, it was really curious how this was going to end up, and really excited about seeing it. So I think she was bringing me some water to drink, or oh no, she walked off with it. I guess she was just carrying it. Now I don't have this videoed. I think the battery died or something happened. But while I was gonna put the edge stain on that was supposed to be this like gun stock kind of orange in the picture, when I put it in the bucket, it ended up looking very much like watered down chocolate milk, and it was like no color went on the board. So I end up doing the entire thing dark walnut, and it still looks phenomenal. You know, I'm still happy with how it ended up. It just would have gone a lot faster had I wasn't having to do what I'm doing now, and I could have done the whole thing dark walnut from the beginning. But oh well, live and learn, you know. That's kind of it just comes along with the territory of being brand new to the process. And I know for next time. And we are almost done with this dark walnut here, and I can get a rag and start wiping it down, which I am very excited about, to see a little bit more of what it'll look like. And I go around the edges, still trying to keep it nice and smooth. And you can see the really cool plaid pattern of my shirt. Because I wasn't thinking of camera placement. This project was supposed to take around 1 week between Christmas and New Year's, and it ended up taking 3 weeks, and finishing it after work. And so I really just wanted to be done. I didn't want to be thinking about the camera. And I go over it with a second rag, because the first one was pretty soaked in. But overall, it looks pretty good. Now, if you like this series, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, hit the like button. Just then I know that people liked it. And there's the finished result. Thank you for watching.